Yeah, there's a bit of confusion about the Aiden Sezer situation. Can you just clear that up? How's he going?
I actually haven't gone into the detail of the situation. I had a conversation with the doctor, our doctor yesterday, who's been in conversation with the Super League Chief Medical Officer, I believe, if that's the right term. And yeah, Aidan won't be available this week.
Right. Is that because there's some talk that he passed the test, but because of how he appeared on the pitch, is that why he's not available?
Yeah, I believe it's the Category 1 symptoms is the determining factor about being able to return to play, whether that be in the game or the following week.
So there's no way he can be available now. You said there's some talks going on.
He will not be available.
Okay. Elsewhere, how has everyone else pulled up since Friday?
I believe, yeah, everybody else is going to be available for selection at this stage.
Yeah. And in terms of the guys who did miss out, you mentioned Ash Hanley, David Fuster. I guess they haven't trained or been involved. You haven't done any field sessions since Friday, so you won't have an update there.
They've had a run this morning, those guys, but they're most unlikely to be available.
Right, okay, but you got Rhys back and Morgan Gannon's available. He's seen out his period, but how's he doing physically?
Morgan Gannon won't be selected this week. He has not undergone all of the protocols anyway. He wouldn't be available, but he also wouldn't be selected given he's such a young player coming off such a significant situation. So he's unavailable and wouldn't have been selected just due to his age and playing the long game with that kid.
No, but the time has elapsed, hasn't it? But it's just a player welfare thing and protecting him more than anything.
I'm actually not sure that it's not purely based on time. He has to be symptom free for a period of time, and he had symptoms for several days, at least after the incident. So we've made the decision as a club that we weren't going to try and accelerate any return to play, given he's an 18-year-old boy with his second head knock of the season.
And just on Harry Newman, obviously the news was announced yesterday that he'll miss the World Cup as well. He had quite a significant setback?
Well, Harry's had a really tough season. He's he's had several injuries of similar nature. So it's certainly a setback for Harry, but he's handled the situation well as a young man. The latest one gives us real opportunity in the next 4 to 5 months to do everything we can to understand the causation of these injuries and do a great rehab, but also dig deeper and look further into possible causation. Some injuries are one-off situations and they can be mended and you move on, but the recurring nature of the injuries suggests that there's some other things that need to be looked into, and that'll be the quest in the next couple of months.
Will he start? Will he be fit to start pre-season, or will he miss a chunk of pre-season as well?
I actually don't know the turnaround time of the post-surgery, but the fact that there's no games until, no competition points available until February, that, if he's not ready till February, then that's fine. It'll be what it is. If he's not ready till later than that, we'll be taking a cautious and long game approach now for sure.
I was just thinking, given the nature of his injuries and how many he's had, how important it will be for him to get a full pre-season under his belt, so he's fit and firing.
He will have a full pre-season. Whether that means he starts the season or not, he'll have all the work necessary to play. I'm also a massive believer that well-tuned and fit and lean athletes don't need to be flogged for months through a pre-season to be able to have a good season. So, we'll be doing everything we can to make sure he has a long and productive career.
Yeah. Rhys Martin's available after his ban. How's he reacted to the win on Friday and being available for a grand final?
Rhys is probably the happiest bloke at Wigan the other day, given that the nature of how he had to miss those couple of games was tough for everyone to take. But Rhys handled it like a real pro. He got around the players and did everything he could, from loading the bus and unloading the bus and setting up the dressing room and all that kind of stuff. He did everything he could to support all of our staff, but also, words of encouragement for other players. And he was very much part of it, even though he wasn't out there in the 17.
Does this leave you with a difficult decision now on who maybe to leave out?
Oh, they're always difficult decisions. We've got sort of 21 available players at the moment that are all willing and very able to play at this level. So it's a difficult decision to leave anyone out every week. But clearly Rhys has been one of our best performers in the last few months. So whoever does make way, they'll understand the situation and still be very much part of our squad anyway.
Just a quick one. How is Aidan, knowing that he's going to miss out on the biggest game of the season? What's his reaction been to that news?
Oh, he's shattered. He's shattered. He, the good news is he felt great going into the dressing rooms. Actually, after he got replaced, he said he felt pretty good. He got through the post-game stuff without any symptoms or feeling bad. So that's a real positive, that his health is there. He feels clear-minded and healthy. So that's the main thing. But he's clearly disappointed and to be missing out. But such is the protocols that are in place to take care of the welfare of our players long term.
And obviously that's a big call about Morgan as well. It's very sort of noble, might not be the right word, but the way you've done that, you've mentioned before how you've always tried to look after players. Just give us a bit of insight into your thoughts around that. Is something that you've always believed in? Is it before? Obviously, there's a lot of talk now about the long-term issues of concussion.
Yeah, I believe that players need to prepare to play, and if they're not training, then they're not preparing the best way they can, and particularly young players, they need the practice, they need the proper preparation to be able to play well and lower their risk of any kind of injuries. Also, I think there's some stuff out there that concussions can also impact other injuries, or the likelihood of other injuries as well. So, I think it's a discussion that we've had as a medical team at our club, but it's something I feel strongly about, particularly with very young players, that the long game is applied to them.
And does Morgan understand the long-term benefits of that? Obviously, he'll be quite shattered as well, I imagine.
Well, Morgan's due to see a specialist in the field, I believe maybe today or tomorrow. So that'll provide us more information of where he's at and what his recovery in the process needs to be. But he understands. We took a cautious approach when he had a head knock earlier in the season. We delayed that process of return to play. We didn't just tick the boxes, and we didn't just allow the time to lapse. We gave him an opportunity to train more, to prepare and get back to full performance. Not just was his head okay, but was he training and looking sharp on the field before we selected him. And that's proved to be a good process given the form that he was in over the last couple of months.
And yeah, just finally for me on match things. Obviously without Aidan there, what you're looking at? I mean, obviously Richie Milo going there to halfback would be an obvious one, but what your sort of thoughts on what you will do? Yeah,
that's the obvious one. We've done that. Zach's done a tremendous job at fullback, and Richie's a well experienced half and very good in that position for us as well. So the way that we play, a lot of the roles are quite interchangeable. It's more about where you end up standing in defence as much as it is what you need to do in attack. So, that's the obvious way for us to go, I'd say.
How galling is it to lose a key man, one of your halfbacks, to a piece of foul play, Rohan?
Oh, it's part of the game. Unfortunately, sometimes people are going to wear the consequence of an accident, which I know those guys played together in Canberra, so I'm sure there's nothing untoward about it. And it's just one of those things, and it's sad and it's tough for Aidan, but such is the nature of sport that, you know, it's tough. It's very disappointing at times. You got to be able to, I guess you got to risk the tough times to enjoy the good times. And Aidan's certainly played a big part in getting us to this opportunity. He'll still very much be part of the squad and part of the group. And it's been a massive squad effort that's got us to this point. We haven't had a consistent team to select at any point. So it's something that the team will handle well. But obviously for Aidan as an individual and for us that care about Aidan, it's it's disappointing for him, but it's also, an accident that happens in the game.